All right, this is a quick review of solving proportions. Even if you haven't done a ton of solving proportions, it's very likely you used the giant one. So as a quick review, the giant one basically means that if I have two equivalent fractions, whatever I'm doing to the top is the same that I'm doing to the bottom. So I can see right here, to go from 26 to 13, that's half. So then what I'm actually doing is I am dividing by 2 to go this way. 26 divided by 2 is 13. So whatever d is, if I divide it by 2, I'll get 50. That also means that if I go backwards, or go the other way, 13 times 2 is 26. So to find my answer for d, I take 50 times 2, and I get 100. And there's my answer. Another quick example would be the one below it. So we're going from 74 to 37. Ironically, you're doing the same thing here. You're actually dividing by 2. But let's say you didn't know that. You know it's getting smaller, so you want to divide by something, but you don't know 74 divided by what equals 37. You can just flip around these two numbers and say 74 divided by 37 equals what? For all of these problems, you are free to use a calculator. So if you type in on your calculator 74 divided by 37, you will get 2. So that means that 74 divided by 2 is 37, and whatever d is, if I divide it by 2, I get 17. Now, let's say you aren't sure in your mind how to find out what d is supposed to be, even though you know that if I divide it by 2, I get 17. It's just like the last one we just looked at for 74. d divided by 2 equals 17. The opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. So now I have d is equal to 17 times 2, which is 34. And there's my answer. We're going to do one other problem, one of the harder ones, and maybe we'll even do a couple here, just because they're so much fun. But we're going to do these ones using the cross multiplication method. So let's do, it doesn't matter, but we could just pick one. So let's do 8. So 3 times something is equal to 5. I have to find out what that is and take 7 times that number to get what r is. That would be our giant one. Another way you can do it is called cross multiplication. If you haven't seen it before, it's just doing just like it sounds like, where you're going to actually multiply across and make an equation. So I take 3 times r, I take 5 times 7. So I'm making a cross and I'm multiplying. That's where the name comes from. So 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times r would be 3 times r. And then I just keep my equal sign. So I know that 3 times r equals 35. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So if I divide both sides by 3, this side will cancel. And then my answer is r is equal to 35 over 3. And you can just type that into your calculator to get the final answer. Let's do one more of those. It doesn't matter. Let's just take 4. All right, now even if I can tell by looking at this problem that it's going to be divided by 5, right? Because 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I already know my answer is going to be 1. But just to show you how the cross multiplication method works, let's say I didn't know that. Well, then I multiply across. I cross multiply. So I go like this. I go like this. I take 2 times 5. I get 10. 10 times h. I get 10 times h. The opposite of multiplying by 10 is dividing by 10. This cancels. And 10 divided by 10 is 1. So my answer is h equals 1.